Okay, and that means to have, so I've put together this list very much like a classic list, a little bit of live. All right, so I've the flex slots in. All right, so we got a pretty normal green white. We have our lush port and our dryad arbor as I still don't know if this is. I've been including additional way to find a base. So I've got 4 windswept foothills, 2 verdant catacombs in the one spot. So I think I have been underrating this card for very long. It's easy to find. It's turned on right away. Obviously, it's not exactly the same as giving your guy a bit quiet on the mic. Oh yeah, of course. All right, I'm changing the mic. It's a bad microphone. I'm kind of. How quiet is it? Super exciting content we got here. All right. All right. How's that? All right. Well, um, I have a dial I can change here, and hopefully that will work. Small change. Well, let's crank it way up then. How about that? Small change. Much better. Got it. Okay. Weird. Yeah, I've actually been thinking about getting like a proper microphone just because I would like use it all the time anyway. Okay, so back to the deck. All right, so we've got a kind of classic green-white mana base here. I have personally, there's been a lot of talk that there's like 3 flex slots you can take. I personally have not gone for the 3rd Savannah, for instead going for a Talon Gates. We got a Horizon Canopy, a Cradle, and a Caracas. So this is straight back to 2013 or whatever. Okay, so that's that. Then here we have the Clips for Life STONEFORGE package, which Clips for Life has really carefully tuned this to be 2 STONEFORGE Mystic, which is kind of an interesting number, but it seems to work here. So we've got that. We have a Sword of Light and Shadow, because this is the last day we're going to expect to perhaps see so many black removal spells to protect our guy, and a Sword of Fire and Ice. We have an Outland Liberator, a Scrib Ranger, a Keen-Eyed Curator, and a Gaddock Teague. We would probably go with a Oof in the main, but we have our own artifacts that we don't want to turn off, so that's why we picked that one there. In the 3 spot, Excavator and 2 Endurance. Of course, our 4 Knight of the Reliquary, and because this is my pet card, we're going to be playing with Kutzel Malamet Exemplar. I'm going to make this one big. This is a really cool card that I like. I think it's easy to turn on. It's interesting. So it's like mostly a Grand Abolisher. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. That's the biggest thing here. So this kind of allows you to set up to do whatever you want on your turn. So unlike Gaddock Teague, this guy lets you do anything you want. Of course, activated abilities still work, but we're not super worried about a lot of activated abilities against us here. And then this better part, whenever 1 or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Okay, that just means that the creature has to have greater power than its base power. I'm not sure what the each means on that, but if your Dryad Arbor has Exalted, that will draw a card. If you're equipped with a piece of equipment, that'll draw a card. If your Knight of the Reliquary has lands in the graveyard, that'll do it. Also, the Keen-Eyed Curator will get to 7/7. That will do it as well. So there's a lot of ways to turn this thing on, and it's just kind of a fun card that we're gonna try out. That leaves I've got to choose just one of these final remaining spots. I'm going to get to that in a second. So in the sideboard, these are the spots that I've locked in. Deafening Silence and Force of Vigor quite good against the Mystic Forge stuff. Pithing Needle good against Nadu and all kinds of things. Fairy good to make sure your stuff doesn't get good against Reanimator. And then I've got all these other. I've got these here that I want, and then I'm not really sure on the rest. So we have the equipment package. I want to go ahead and choose Umezawa's Jitte. I think Reanimator is probably still the most popular online, so let's go with 1 copy of Sanctifier and Vect. Control is not very popular, so I'm going to take out the chokes. So we still got to choose 2 of these remaining 6 here. To give us game against random stuff and to help carry another piece of equipment, I'm going to go with 1 Azen. A rules question. If the opponent Liliana the Last Hopes your Knight and you connect with Knight and Teague, do you still get 1 since 1 is smaller? That is a great question. I I don't know how often that's going to come up. Whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power. So if one does not have power greater than its base power and the other does. I mean, the first part of that makes me think yes, because it says one or more, but then it says each. So maybe they all have to? I honestly don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe it wouldn't. Luckily, we're almost always attacking with just one creature, so yeah. Tameo -1 -1 kind of mess with, you're right, it does mess with it. I don't know, maybe we should put it in the sideboard. I guess it has decent overlap with the equipment already, so let's put the Umezawa's Jitte in the main and the Kutsulla in the sideboard. Alright, so we still got to trim down 3 cards. I'm going to go with Thalia here because I believe that best leans into the strength, which means cutting these Reclaimers. If we cut the Reclaimer, that means no Bog. And I'm going to go with one more Deafening Silence just to hedge against the popular Mystic Forge. I don't think we need 2 copies of Sanctifier. Maybe we'll go with one more copy of Force of Vigor just to hedge as well. Oh, yeah. Okay, you want to put the Kutsulla? Okay. All right. Cooler heads have prevailed. We'll go with this after all. Okay, so let's try this list out. All right. Legacy lead, 100 play points. Join. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's something to be said for this playing what you like. Yeah, that's for darn sure. Actually, maybe I have a second to change the chat to the block boxes. How do I do that? Chunky boxed. There we go. Are there any really good artifacts to take with Dak Faden? I guess the One Ring is really good. A really good thing to steal. All right. Okay, so this is an excellent hand with a great curve plus a Once Upon a Time. We're playing second. It doesn't have a removal spell, but that's okay. We'll go with the keep. This is an easy keep. Okay, wow, this hand got even better. Okay, so we'll start with the once here. Horizon Canopy, Keen-Eyed Curator, Noble Hierarch. This is another tough one. I think we're going to want a second green source in case it gets blown up. I'm going to go with that. Oh, wow, they changed the interface. Okay, done. You now have to click twice on it. One minor upside is that the opponent can sometimes think that we are playing Nadu with the green-white. Prismatic Ending on our Birds of Paradise. That is fine. Ponder. Okay. So a few choices here. We could ramp and blow up a land, which sets basically the opponent back a turn and makes our guy more set up. Plus it's another body for us to carry like a sword or something with. We could play Stoneforge Mystic into Daze. I think I want to ramp and blow up a land. One Ring Forward, Batterskull, yeah. That's a lot of good stuff. Vial? Yeah, I guess you can ramp into it pretty quickly. 7 creatures on it. Yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Dreadnought, Liquid. So now they're blowing up our land. Okay. And they're going to Swords Splash. Alright, little do they know, we are prepared for this nonsense. Okay. I'm going to attempt to jank the opponent out of the game here. Coding anything you ever want, yeah. That's got to be a really fun one to take. Okay, I think this is an interesting decision. So if we play the Marsh Flats, we can get our second Savannah, but then we'd be stuck with only this Horizon Canopy for a green source. I think that's still the better choice. Opponent is sending messages and confused over my choices here. Will they hardcast the Daze? Yes. Okay. Bummer, but I don't think... Alright, we got the Force of Will. Doorkeeper Thrall. Okay, not great. Let's see if they get a Dreadnought. We do have the Swords of Plowshares for it, if true. Okay. Well, we're going to be able to remove it. Sorry, a little less narration right now because there isn't a whole lot to discuss. Okay. Now we have a decision to make. We could attack with a Knight. They're up really big on life points. Or we could hold up Talon Gates if they do try to play a Dreadnought. Plus that lets us cycle the Horizon Canopy for another land. And we could probably intercept the Doorkeeper Throw in combat. I think that's going to be my plan, to try to jank them out like that. Alright, so we get to see if we want this thing. Cradle? No. Ooh, Sword of Fire, nice. That's good. And we have enough to equip it too. Alright. I think we are out of searchable lands. Okay. Alright. Alright. We got him. Okay. So we have here the Stifle Knot list. Alright. Force of Vigor removes that thing. They don't really have any blue creatures. They do have Teferi. Teague only stops Force of Will here. They don't really have... They do have small creatures, so Umezawa's Jitte is probably pretty good. They're not really doing graveyard stuff. So I'm going to get rid of... They're also pretty good about playing on basics, so I'm going to get rid of the Excavator. If I put that Manifest Dread... Oh, that is true. Okay, so let's keep the graveyard stuff in there. I don't think we need the Excavator. I guess let's trim a once. And I don't really think we need the Cutzel here. Well, that also stops them from doing in-step Dress Down. Is Dress Down even in this list? I don't think it is. I think the Force of Vigor is probably okay to just have two of here, because it only really stops that thing. Okay, let's go with this. Okay, so once again, we have a turn 1 ramp, a turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic, a way to blow up a land, and a removal spell. This is fantastic. And we're totally set with just basics here, too. Even better. Okay. Basic Forest. Green Sun Zenith for a Dryad Arbor. Yeah, I'm going to try and do one. Meticulous Archivime Response. Daze? Do they really want to daze this? I don't think so. Okay. Alright. Okay. Because we didn't get Savannah last turn, and this is what I was talking about, the sequencing is so important. We didn't get Savannah last turn, so now we don't have Stoneforge Mystic and Swords to Plowshares available to us. We only have one or the other. I am afraid we might have to be reactive here because I don't want to walk. Well, I guess we could just... Yeah. I think that's going to be the plan here. Alright, so we'll attack for 1, and if they flash in a Doorkeeper Thrall or something, we will destroy it. That's fine. I don't like being this reactive, but I honestly am not sure. The Knight of the Reliquary goes into Daze. The Stoneforge Mystic exposes it to Doorkeeper. Well, we could just destroy it later. If they really want to waste it on this thing, that's not the worst thing in the world. Alternately, they pretty much have to flash it in next turn. We could Talon Gates it away and then Stoneforge Mystic. I think I'm going to go with that plan. Murktide Regent? What are they spending 3 blue mana on? Harbinger of the Seas. That is very, very much fine. I don't even know if I want to spend a removal spell on that thing. I do not want to spend a removal spell on this. Alright, we got a Force of Will. That's good news. Alright, now we got the biggest thing on the board. Ponder. So they want this Harbinger of the Seas to die. They have no white mana. I am not going to block it. Alright. Let's see if we can close the game out right here, right now. Duress down. Okay. think the layering doesn't work the way the opponent was hoping it would here. Phyrexian Dreadnought. Okay. Another Dreadnought. I'm going to attempt to Force of Vigor this thing next turn. Wow. Unbelievable. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can bait them to blow up the land with this thing. But I don't know what the opponent's going to do here. I mean, they might have the swords at this point to ferry. Okay. Okay, nothing we can do about that. Okay. So... Alright, Green Sun Zenith on top. What is the best thing to find here? If we go with the Cutzel. So the Scrub Ranger can't be affected by the Teferi or another Teferi. Anything can be got by Green Sun Zenith. Maybe the best thing is just... Actually, I think even a Sylvan Sagekeeper might be enough off to protect us here. And that can help us. I think I'm going to go for the Scrib Ranger. Is that way we can re-lush Portugal and hopefully find something for next turn. Another Force of Will. Okay. Bummer. Harbinger Lauren revealed. Okay. Wow, we really didn't want that. Okay. Okay. Let's hope the last card is not Force of Will in hand here. Sword of Fire and Ice. This will stop the Teferi from... At least stop the Teferi from returning the Stoneforge Mystic. I guess we just cast it? Yeah, I guess we just cast it. Wrath of the Skies. Oh, that is a bummer. Okay. They are at 2. But that is not good. Okay. Okay, so we have Talongate's trick here. Opponent said some nice things. This looks like a reason to punch Green Mav. Yeah. Sorry, that game, I didn't do a ton of narrating there because I was just sort of playing what came next, but opponent said some nice things. It was like, what is this? Is this Nadu? Etc. But yeah, they got me with that Wrath there, but they just had nothing to follow it up. This is like a mix of control plus... I don't know. All right, on to the next match. All right, we are off to a good start with 2-0 in the first game. Still no appearance of the cat yet. Listed as control. Yeah, that was weird though, because like they had a Wrath of the Skies and like a Doorkeeper Thrall and all that stuff in Dreadnoughts, which would seem to sweep up all their own stuff, but yeah, I don't know. We're hoping only the killers are out there tonight for us to, I don't know, get a 5-0 or something. All right, here we go for the next match. And we did win the die roll. That's great. Okay, another great hand here. We got a once to find something, a nice follow-up, and a Zenith too. So hopefully that this is a great opening hand here. Plus a couple of basics. All right, let's start with our once. Okay, so we already have 3 lands. I don't think we need a 4th one. We can Zenith for a guy instead. The good news, Endurance. Endurance could bail us out of something. The Cutzel is actually not turned on right now. I think I want a diversity of threats to make sure that whatever weapon sticks to it. So I'm going to go with the Noble Hierarch here. I'm not sure if that's correct. Maybe not. We already have that. Let's go with the Endurance. I guess that stops us against nonsets. Delighted Halfling. Okay, not great. We're going to have to play against the Nadu. We're going to have to get a Sword of Fire and Ice online very quickly here. Unfortunately, the Nadu could come online as soon as next turn, but there wouldn't be anything to do with it. I think the better play is the Stoneforge Mystic, and then try and sword that thing away. The falling. Well, no, because that's... And that takes all 4 mana. That's not enough time to do that. I think we need to do this and then set up I think we need to do this and then set up some sort of sword or something to pick off their stuff. So this is almost certainly Nadu, and we need to keep them off balance as much as possible. A tundra. Nomads. Okay. I don't know. Not a lot of great choices here. Sword of Fire and Ice. And then let's see if they will accidentally throw away their nomads. If they play a Nadu next turn, don't do it. Ugh. Okay. All right. Well, we do have we might have a window here to another Nadu. They're not going to do graveyard things, so I'm just going to let them fuss around here. This is really annoying. Another Nomads in core. Luckily, they haven't revealed a land yet. Green Sun Zenith. So we might be able to crash in with the sword here, believe it or not. And then that will let us to pick off the Nomads. Let's see if they'll let us do it. They have to go to discard. Yavimaya. Okay. Oh no, we don't have enough to do that. Oh boy. They revealed Zenith. All right, let's just... Yeah, since that wasn't the swords. All right, I'm going to Hail Mary for a Knight of the Reliquary here to bounce it back to hand and then try and take over the game with the sword. It seems very unlikely like this is going to work. Yeah. All right. We'll just go to the next game here. Yeah, it's really annoying. I can't stand it either. I think it's very unlikely it will survive Monday, because I think people just hate it. Okay. Umezawa's Jete, yes. Aven Mind Sensor, yes. Pithing Needle, yes. Do we want maybe one Force of Vigor here? Sword of Light and Shadow we don't need. I mean, we're winning the game better if we're slowing them down. So I don't think that blowing up a Shuko is what we really want to do here. I'd rather just keep the stuff from hitting the field in the first place. Endurance is not nearly as important here. Ramanap can help jank them out of the game. Safekeeper can keep our stuff alive. Scrib Ranger can get in with the sword. We don't need the Sword of Light and Shadow. Let's just trim a once, I guess. Okay. Yeah, this deck is obnoxious. And we are massively unfavored, I think. I found it very difficult to beat this. Okay. Well, we've had a lot of good hands, but that is not one of them. Okay. Turn 1, Noble. Turn 2, Thalia. Turn 3, Knight of the Reliquary. Somewhat dependent on our Noble or the Thalia not being destroyed. I think that's unlikely. Keep this on the bottom of the portico here. Prismatic Ending? Okay. That is really what you don't want to see. Okay. Well, okay. Let it be known that I brought up the fact that this could happen when I made the decision to bottom the Lush Portico. Yikes. Oh man, this is an unpleasant experience. We can't do anything. All right, let's just hope that they don't play a land, a thing, and the Nadu, which they probably will. Okay, there's the Nadu. All right, come on, land. There's a land. So Teague just straight shuts off their ability to search. They already have the Nadu. I doubt this version has Court of Calling since it's got that. So I think Thalia is the better play here. Don't play Nomads. Don't do it. Another thing. Uro. Okay, that's fine. That's where we're at. It's just an Uro. Okay. This list typically does not play the Wasteland. So whatever we do is going to resolve, which is awesome. Yeah, let's just do that now while Bristly Bill. Okay. That does help. All right, so they're going to get 2 Nadu triggers. And we have no plays anyway, so just let them go wild here. Another land. Another thing. Yeah, this is probably going to be impossible to come back from. Luckily, they just found a land and another Nadu so far. If they don't find a removal spell from the Night of the Reliquary, we can massively slow this down. Yeah, it's pretty obnoxious. I guess I'll upgrade the match record. Right now, ON1. Ugh. It's a fairy. They have enough mana to cast it too. So they're going to bounce the Night of the Reliquary back to our hand. Yep. I don't know why it's telling me for blockers. I can't block it. See if they make a mistake and bounce the Thalia. No. Yeah, because they can't afford X equals 1. So that's probably a safekeeper. Okay. Alright. Okay. So they can't force a will anything right now. Unfortunately, the safekeeper is going to stop us from bouncing the Nadu. Okay. So these are all targeting the Nadu. If we bounce it now, they'll at least have to sacrifice our real land. Guess that's something. Force of will. Hedge maze. Alright, does the... Okay, so now our own thing's going to resolve here. Can we bounce it? Okay, they're giving the Noble Hierarch Shroud. Okay. Holy moly, especially when you have other people watching, you just realize how... Whenever it comes to targeting... It does not yet have Shroud. I mean, they're going to give it Shroud. Right? So... I'm going to... Caracas. I mean, at least they just, like, genuinely have to sacrifice a land if they do this. Okay. Wait a minute, it actually bounced a hand? Okay, the opponent made a mistake. We might, like, something might actually happen here. So they did not reveal a removal spell. Another Nadu. Oh, it's the same one. Okay. Alright, I'm going to hit 6, see what happens. Okay, so they have a Force of Will. It means nothing we do is going to resolve anyway. They somehow have not gotten more removal spells. But they're going to be able to make the Nadu, like, very big. Alright, I am just going to concede this game now and move to the entertainment value for the rest of this league. Yeah, I just think when you look at games like that, I think that is pretty good evidence that that card is probably going to be banned. It's just so annoying on every possible level that I'm just not sure what the defensive keeping it around is. Okay, we got another match going here, and we won the die roll again. And yet another pretty solid hand. We've got Birds of Paradise, Once Upon a Time Thalia. That is really quite awesome. What you'd like to see. I will keep that. We've had a lot of really good hands this league so far. Alright, so we'll start with a once. Okay, another tough one. So Thalia plus the Wasteland is like the combo. Stoneforge Mystic is more generically, but we wouldn't probably do that till a follow-up play. My thinking is probably the Wasteland, but on the other hand, if they see it coming, would they play around it more? Yeah, it is good with the Excavator. Yeah, it's a good point. Okay, let's go with the Wasteland. It is the combo. All right. Savannah, Birds of Paradise. Yeah, sometimes those opening hands can be really tough to figure out exactly what to do because there's a lot of different ways you can game plan. And as been said many times, you cannot make a mistake. Like, you really have to pick the right one, and there's not a lot of bailing yourself out. But yeah, this could be a nice curve. So next turn, Thalia, or depending on what the opponent does here. Vault of Whispers. Okay. That favors well for us here. And I think that pretty much locks up that we definitely want the Thalia. Okay. Elvish Spirit Guide, Cabal Ritual. Well, maybe we won't get a turn. Alright, so Beseech. But Beseech for Gaia's Will is not very exciting in this case here. Necrodominance. Okay. Let's see how much they take. If they don't win the game right here, and they have no mana to seed this with, then I think 1. Alright, let's see if they have it. Summoner's Pact. So there's 1 piece of mana. Summoner's Pact for 2 pieces of mana. Wild Canter. Manamorphose. So there's the blue mana for the Born of Haunted Wind. Do they have the Born of Haunted Wind? They just spent it to cast something. Did they cast it? They did. Alright, so they have that. Do they now have the tendrils or the thing that finds the tendrils? Lotus Petal. Manamorphose. Unmask. Still haven't cast the thing yet. Cabal Ritual. 11 cards left in hand. So in our sideboard we have 3 copies of Deafening Silence. So it's a lot of, okay. Valakut Awakening, so they still don't have it. So there's a non-zero chance that they whiff here. More mana. Another Beseech, because that's got to find the tendrils. Alright, they got it. Okay. Right, we have a ton of answers for this. Okay. Force of Vigor. Alright, we'll start taking stuff out. So we don't need this. We don't need the Stoneforge Mystic. We don't... we want Collector Oof. Deafening Silence. What else doesn't really do anything? Don't really need Swords to Plowshares here. Yeah, it's not as slow as the bird. Yeah. Do they do any searching? They do. So Aven Mind Sensor does something. They're not really using the graveyard. I guess there's nothing really they're pithing needling. I guess let's just bring in this because it's a creature that attacks that costs less than any of these other ones. And maybe stops something weird with the graveyard that we're somehow not planning for. I sometimes wonder about the sideboard juke here, but that list has so many weird things in it, I'm not sure what it would even be. Okay, let's go. Yeah, sometimes I forget to cut the Swords to Plowshares against these lists that have no creatures, or no meaningful creatures. Alright, Thalia, Force of Vigor. That is pretty much awesome. We get to turn 1 Noble Hierarch, turn 2 Thalia, and we can blow up with whatever it is, the thing with the Force of Vigor. Let me update our record here. We are 1-1, and we are 0-0 and 0-1 in matches. All right, opponent's mulligan to 6. Yeah, we're 1-1 in. Yeah, we're 1-1 in the league and 0-1 in this particular match. Okay. Unmask does get us. The one way this hand doesn't win is if they unmask and have everything to get to cast the thing on the first turn. But there's not a whole lot else we can do about it. Yeah, beat Stifle, lost to the bird. Alright, here we go. Alright, let's hope they don't have Unmask here. They were playing it, so it's not impossible that they have it. Also, like, this doesn't even always have a turn 1. Sometimes it needs an extra turn to set up. Chrome Mox. Alright, serious question. Should we blow up the Chrome Mox with the imprint there? Do we think we should blow up the Chrome Mox or not? I feel like that's the coward's play. I'm gonna let him have it here. Because even if they Thoughtseize, we still... Okay, they did have an Unmask. Cabal Ritual. Necrodominance. Okay. They should have unmasked me. Alright. That was a fun game. Yeah, I mean, I guess we just submit this back. We don't have... Oh, there's another Force of Vigor. Okay. I don't traditionally like to keep a hand versus something like this that has just one piece of interaction. The once could find Thalia. Is this a keepable hand? What did the opponent decide? They decided to keep 7, so they probably have the Unmask. They probably have the Unmask. I really wish I had one more thing. We do have the Force of Vigor, though. And they have to expel so many resources in order to have the one mask and everything else. Yeah, so we do have a turn 0 answer here. My general heuristic is I want 2 answers, and this is only 1. I don't think we throw back a turn 0 answer, though. Yeah, I guess we gotta keep it. And let's hope they don't have Unmask here. Oh, they do. Alright. Okay. Force of Vigor. What do they exile? Necrodominance. Okay. And then just nothing? Or are they gonna go second main? End. Okay. Well, I don't love this. So they didn't have the turn 1 there. And if they require setting up with lands, that might favor us here. The Simian Spirit Guide. Manamorphose. Maybe we hope that was a Desperation Manamorphose and that they don't. Cabal Ritual. Okay, so they probably do have it. Necrodominance. Alright, there it is. So much fun, I know. We've not been very lucky with very good games in this case. Yeah, I don't think we throw that hand back because the only turn 0 answer we have is Force of Vigor, and the chance that we get that and another thing is not that great. 2 more Spirit Guides. Summoner's Fact. For another Spirit Guide. There's the Born Upon a Wind. Yeah, they got it. Alright. Okie dokie. Alright, so now we have to win the back half of this here. Not super exciting. Well, I guess you can't blame these players. They're trying to use these cards before they're banned or so they can go underneath these really powerful builds. Okay. Yeah, double ramp, 2 lands, a removal spell, a way to stop some nonsense. I think this is a keep. Thundering Falls. Okay. So this probably means Sneak and Show, to which Knight of the Reliquary is actually pretty good there, especially since they seem to have not been using the Archon of Cruelty as much. So maybe we get lucky and we get like a Thalia here. That would be great. A Wasteland. They kept it on top. Oh, there's also the Caracas. That might make them have to dig a little bit more. I think we want the Caracas here because we can put that in off of a show and tell. Whereas the Wasteland, they could just plan and play around it. Plus, we can get that one of those with the Knight of the Reliquary. Anyway, I'm going to go with the Caracas. I'm going to go with the basic Forest just in case they have Blood Moon. Planar Nexus. Okay. Maybe not. Tybalt's Trickery. Wow, people are up to some stuff. Is this guaranteed? It is, but they might not have a way to cast it. So they get another turn. They're going to blow up all our lands, but then we're going to bounce it back to their hand. And then I don't think they have another way to get it in play. So we might actually have this game. I'm really curious about this. All right, what's the follow-up? Throes of Chaos. Wow, this is pretty funny. What just happened? Cast a Lotus Petal? All right, well, whatever. Let's see what happens here. All right. So they annihilate us. We sacrifice our permanents. Very sad. Okay, excellent, because it's going to slow them down if and when. They have a lot of mana now, but what a weird, what a weird series of events. Okay, let's see what the follow-up here is. Throes of Chaos. Another Lotus Petal. Another Throes of Chaos. Is there any other hits other than the Emrakul? Is there a second Emrakul? Another Lotus Petal. Okay. And the Throes of Chaos is Retrace, so it requires discarding a land. Alright, so we play the Savannah, and the Thalia just guarantees that everything gets slowed down. The Birds of Paradise unlocks more stuff, but there's nothing else to unlock. Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's a good point, just in case. Yeah, they have so much mana it doesn't even matter. The Thalia doesn't really slow them down. Creative Technique? Fury. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Then next turn we can Scrib Ranger. Yeah, I think we need the Caracas in play. I mean, they're eventually just going to get to the mana to cast the Emrakul. Tybalt's Trickery. Omniscience. That's not good. I don't think we can beat that because they have it in hand. Well, alright. They got us. Okay, all kinds of nonsense here. So we want to bring in the Deafening Silence. We need to bring in the Force of Vigor to destroy need to bring in the Force of Vigor to destroy any potential omniscience. They're not searching their library, but the Sanctifier stops them from throws of chaosing over and over again. I don't think we really care about grinding through creature combat here, so we'll take out the STONEFORGE Mystic package. I don't think we're super worried about them casting spells on our turn. This slows down their ability to use Lotus Petals and things. Teague stops them from casting almost everything. Safekeeper will keep our guys alive, so I think we want to keep that. I don't think we need the Remnant Excavator. The Knight of the Reliquary plan, blowing up lands, should be good enough. Endurance stops those things in the graveyard as well. I don't think we really need the Scrib Ranger. And maybe we cut it once. Yeah, let's go with that. They did cast Throws of Chaos a lot of times. Okay, this hand does not have anything that really disrupts the fast plan, so I think we need something better. There we go. Turn 1 Deafening Silence. Keep. I think we send back the Dryad Arbor. Yeah, let's send back the Dryad Arbor. Hopefully get a land. That's not a land. Okay. And if we get a land next turn, then we can Zenith for Gaddock Teague, and then I think that's that. I don't think they can beat... Okay, Null Drifter. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Teague here, because Teague stops Throws of Chaos. It stops... I don't see what else it'd be. They don't have any artifacts on play. It doesn't stop Omniscience in... It doesn't stop Show and Tell Omniscience into Emrakul Eon's Torn, but I think it's still the best play for us here. Unfortunately, this does leave us vulnerable to Fury, but there's nothing we can do about that anyway. Alright, there's their one spell. Yeah, they have 3 sources of colored. Let's take out the Ancient Tomb. Another Ancient Tomb. So we have 2 layers of protection here. That's soon to be 3. So because we saw Fury in the previous game, I am tempted to hold the Thalia here. I mean, they could Fury away the guys, but then they would... Because they can take out both the Thalia and the Teague with 1. Oh, Apex Devastator, yeah. I think I want to hold the Thalia. Both because it doesn't... They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana already, so they have enough mana to cast something. And it's a follow-up to if the T gets destroyed. Otawara, Soaring City. Okay, well... I was wrong about that. Okay. Is that... Artifact, creature, or enchantment? So they still can't get around the Deafening Silence. I don't really think I want them to put the Null Drifter or the Otawara back in hand, so I'm just going to target nothing here. So we're going to attack for 5, then they're going to be forced to tap this Ancient Tomb. Alright. Because there won't be another turn, I'm going to overload here. Alright. Okay. I think that's still the plan that we want. I don't understand why I would take anything out. Maybe go down one more once for that, just to maximize our chance of getting a nice turn 2 play. But yeah, we have to survive this turn. We have to survive the turn 1 and 2, unless we have a Deafening Silence specifically in hand. Okay, that is almost really good. Wow, it has everything in one hand, but it doesn't cast a turn 1 spell. Oh boy. So we can't... So we have a whole bunch of great turn 2 plays. If we throw this back, the only really one turn play that we care about is, in fact, another Deafening Silence, which requires us to hit the 1 of 3. Plus, we might get a land. I'm going to keep this. There's just too many good options, and I think it took them 2 or 3 turns last time to set up. Land. Not a land. Okay. I think we want a 3rd land. Yeah. Creative Technique. Will we get a turn? They just threw away a Creative Technique. Pyrokinesis. Tybalt's Trickery. Okay. Throws of Chaos. Yes! Okay. And that makes it really easy because This is worthy of a screenshot because it's just so ridiculous here. Let's do this. Here's the great what's the play. This is like every single bear we could possibly offer. So Oof turns off the most things here. Teague stops them from casting creative technique or something like that at all. I think it's Collector Oof here. Or even better, we blow up a land. Blow up a land and cast Deafening Silence. And then follow that up with Teague. If we blow up a land, that would have to have an Ancient Tomb exactly and high mana cost spell in the same hand. Oof just doesn't let them do it at all. I think that's the play. Because my opponent is commenting on this ridiculous hand that I have here. You haven't even seen it all yet. Okay, opponent asks, what would possess you to keep the Collector Oof in? I don't know, like... It does something? Okay. So they could still Throes of Chaos, theoretically, but not if we Sanctifier. This is so hilarious. I can't even believe this. Yeah, they can't do Throws with the Teague, but they can't cast it anyway right now because it's being taxed by 1. This is hilarious. This is like the biggest pile of bears even I, in my sincere love of my bears. No brother wouldn't say, well, the Sanctifier, yeah, the Sanctifier in Vec is not going to be killed. It's a 1-of Sanctifier, but okay. Yeah, I'll show the chat here. Let's just pull this out. This is kind of funny. It says here, what would possess you to keep the Oof in? It hits 2 to 4 cards. It's a thing that does something. I mean, like, your Sword Supply Plowshares or whatever doesn't do anything, so that was pretty funny that we had I had all 4 bears in that one. It's hilarious. I was only a 1-of Sanctifier, too. Yeah, Brotherhood would be a thing. Fun fact, I was playing a game at a local event, and I attached a Sword of Fire and Ice to the Gaddock T to get my opponent's like, I can't win the game now. Yeah, it's like the Beartron, like the opposite of normal. Okay. So we haven't gotten to see the cat at all, mainly because we just haven't played against the games where it is relevant, but it is in a main. So we have a turn 1 Hierarch, turn 2 Thalia. We've had a lot of great hands in this match, and this is no exception, so I'm going to keep this one. Lavinia, Teague, Hullbreacher, and Dak into Jewel. That is great. Thoughtseize. Okay. I think we finally have a player playing Reanimator is my best guess here. Let's see what they're most scared of. Yeah. Takes the Thalia. See? So much respect. Alright. Thoughtseize Bug. One time. Here we go. No, not this time. Okay. Street Wraith. Okay, so we got here. Power Crept, stop playing back. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Wow, I still can't believe that we had all 4 bears. That's hilarious. Thoughtseize again. Okay. I would imagine it's the Zenith? No, it's the Cutzel. Alright, so much respect. Alright. Yeah, I'm not reading all that. Call the Strashapro. The Strashapro. Oh, man. That was our chance to see the cat. As it doesn't really make sense for this matchup. Okay, opponent did nothing. I think the most aggressive plan... Let me think about this. So if we cast the Outland Liberator and attack for 2, that is probably better. Plus that at least maybe blows up a Lion's Eye Diamond and causes them to think about the pile. Because we can't cast and equip it anyway, but we could cast and equip it next turn. Okay, yeah, that's the plan. I guess we should have Lesh Porticoed first to get a sense of... Wow! Okay. Okay, so we can't cast and equip once again, so I guess we attack here. So next turn they take 3, 4, 5, 6. Hot diggity. I can't believe it. Maybe, I just think that Doomsday players are not respecting the fast... And this is nothing against the Stras Daddy pile, it's just that it's just a little slower. Alright. So, Sword of Light and Shadow out. Actually, let's just start with what we want to bring in. Collector Oof does something. Even Mind Sensor, Deafening Silence. Oh, really? Yeah. Didn't you play at the same store as him? Yeah, great guy. Sanctifier, like, reduces the number of things in their graveyard that they could put in a pile. I guess that kind of does something. Pithing Needle stops Street Wraith, but they're just gonna put in the pile whatever we don't needle, so I don't think that's a good call. Teague doesn't stop any of their key spells. I don't think we need to worry about recurring creatures or protecting from black. I think we'd rather just Knight of the Reliquary their lands away instead of Excavator. I don't think this is super relevant versus what they're doing either. And neither really is this, honestly. So that just leaves one left. Scrib Ranger does get us ahead by a turn. See, Safekeeper keeps Thalia or something alive. God, it pains me to do this, but I think it's got to be this stupid cat again. Why don't I want Needle versus Doomsday? It's not that I don't want to. It's just that if I Needle Street Wraith, then they're going to put Edge of Autumn in the pile. And if I put Needle Edge of Autumn, they're going to put Street Wraith in the pile. And I just think it's so easy for them to play around. Like, maybe it blanks a card in hand, but even then, if I cast it, they're just going to cycle it. I just don't think it's... I think it's not... I mean, all right. I guess it does more than Scrib Ranger. So by that logic, yes. We'll go down one Stoneforge Mystic for the last... No. We need to put on a fast clock. Okay. So this is a hand that does stop anything that does something. Yeah, that was what came up in the previous round. Yeah, I definitely respect that logic. It's like kind of like on the edge for me there. So we have no way to cast this Thalia. The Endurance does stop some of their lines. The Swords is not relevant at this point of the game. I think I'm going to send this one back. Ugh. We've had a lot of really good hands this league, so I can't really complain too much here. I just don't think this is keepable either. All right, I'll keep this one. Let's send back a Noble Hierarch and a Swords to Plowshares. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, you would have kept the first hand? Maybe I was wrong. Yeah. But the thing is, we couldn't Zenith for the card until turn 3, and then we had 2 Swords to Plowshares just doing nothing in our card. We couldn't cast it. So, like, we had basically no plays for what felt like too long. On the other hand, there's a lot of turn 1 sources that finds a plane. Yeah. Since I never play blue, I don't know what this is like, but like the hand evaluation is really hard. Like the hardest skill I think to do. I will update our record, by the way. We are 2-2. And we are 1-0 against Doomsday. Personal tutor. Okay. So they probably have Dark Ritual Doomsday. Maybe. That is a good point. Although I didn't have another green card either. But by the time that would have come around, okay, well that did eat a Force of Will. Or did it? No. Okay. Force of Will getting rid of Ponder. Okay, that happens. Alright. So if they also have Brainstorm in hand, Night's Whisper. Okay. That I did not expect. Okay, so choices here include Zenithing for an Oof, but then they could just plan their pile around not needing to use a Lotus Petal or Lion's Eye Diamond. Or we could get our Knight of the Reliquary down and put them to the squeeze. I think that's probably the better call. Yeah. I'm going to go for the Knight of the Reliquary here. Because they probably don't have another... Because the way it looks set up right now, they might not have a third land, or they might not have enough. They might just barely have enough mana to cast the Doomsday, but not enough to follow up on it. Okay, daze. Okay. Well, the other thing would have gotten dazed anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Under City Sewers, so they do have the third land. All right, the best find off the top would be a Thalia. Thoughtseize. All right. So we've got nothing. Come on, Thalia. Not a Thalia. Have we used our Lush Portico? We have not. If we cycle... So we know there's a Doomsday in hand. We know the other hand's on Underground Sea. Yeah, I think I'm going to cycle this here and see if we can find a Thalia. Nope, but almost as good. I'll take it. Wow, that was awesome. Okay, there's the Doomsday. Unfortunately, we don't have much in the way of pressure. Almost Thalia. For those of you that weren't here earlier, unfortunately, it wasn't a very exciting league because we got to face necrodominance in basically a coin flip game, and we faced Nadu, and boy is that deck annoying. And based on how well it's been doing, I've been seeing a little bit more of it lately. So hopefully it's gone forever. Next turn? No, that is a Galaxy move because they can build a pile around it. That's a great point. This, I guess, well, playing it last turn makes it so that it can't, so that they can't, because they could just like Edge of Autumn. They could go double Edge of Autumn, Thassa's Oracle like 2 down next turn maybe. Yeah, I don't think there's any chance that, okay, I don't say any chance. I think it's very unlikely that Nadu stays alive. I think that people just hate it. All right, I'm going to stop passing and see what they put in here. All right, let's put this together. All right. So there's 1 Street Wraith, 2 Street Wraith. Cavern of Souls is here. 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will, 3 Force of Will. 1, 2, 3. So they have a force in hand. So yeah, they must have like an Edge of Autumn style pile. Yeah, so there's 3. Actually, I'll check that again. So there is a way to possibly beat a Thassa's Oracle. So it's 1 force, 2 force, 3 force. I don't know what the remaining cards are in hand because that went away a couple of turns ago. Days, we got 1, 2, 3. We can play around Days pretty easily. Well, there's really no plays even available to us here, so I'm going to get this out there so we can surveil on the very off slight chance 3 days. If they brainstorm into it, I think that might allow them to, like, some of the more clever piles involve using the brainstorm and a fetch land to reduce the pile even further. Maybe they go for a double Thassa's Oracle line here? Like a Thassa's Oracle into Thassa's Oracle? I didn't see any Thassa's Oracle in the pile. Could be Oracle with 2 Devotion and second World with Falling Turned. Defense Grid, 3 more to cast. Well, we can play around that. I think that means we have to surveil then and not get a... Okay, another big decision point. Do we surveil here? Or do we get a Dryad Arbor? The best thing we can do is blow up one of the lands. I think that means we should probably surveil. Yeah, I agree. I think it's probably surveil for that reason. Green Sun's Zenith. What does that do? Nothing at this point. Yeah, that doesn't do anything at this point. Ramonette for waste? I think they probably have another Force of Will in hand is the thing. But except for they can't cast it. So we would be able to cast it for sure. Did we side it out? Let's look. We did side it out. Oh, man. Reasoning that I would rather use my knights to blow up lands than the Ramonette. But they could, because they could just cycle with Edge of Autumn, which doesn't cast any life. Ultimately, we could mess with the pile further by zenithing for an Endurance. We could do that. That would put 1 more card in the pile. And it would... So it's either that or a random card. I think Zenith is better than a random card. I'm going to put it on top. I'm going to look for Endurance, because it's the only thing that we can do that, like, absolutely does something. Yeah. I mean, I still think they can play around this. Maybe not. This might slow them down enough for one turn to make the Swords of Plowshares actually work. Unfortunately, they don't have any other stuff in their graveyard right now. Okay, let's see what happens. This has been kind of fun and interesting. Consider. Okay, they can't cast another non-creature spell. Hopefully they forget that. No. Okay, there's the Thassa's Oracle. So that would have been the better play. It's like they... Okay, do we make any changes here? So Ramunap would have been good in that exact circumstance. I guess it's a reason enough to take out... Oh, 0 in library without endurance. Okay, that's a good point. We could go down another Stoneforge, which... Stoneforge hinted Turok them. They force a will to Stoneforge Mystic the last game. Yeah, let's go down 1 Swords and go to the second Needle. The only question I'm having left here is, do I bring this in? And if so, what do I cut? Is this more impactful than Outland Liberator? Probably. Like, I'm going for Oof and not Liberator. Because, like, if they cast a defense... I don't even know why they kept defense in grid against me. I'm not sure I agree with that decision. I don't think exiling the graveyard is what we want to do. Let's trim a Safekeeper. Yeah, that really only stops Thalia. Okay, good call. Okay. This is for all the 3/2 marbles. Well, this is a great hand. We have Thalia, we have Deafening Silence. Deafening Silence is probably the most impactful turn 1 play, as it does stop the turbo lines, which turn 1 Noble Hierarch does not. The Safekeeper is just there to protect, like, Thalia or Collector Oof or something like that. I know it's not, like, that good here, but I don't know, maybe they're trying to cast removal spells, but yeah, that's probably a good point. Okay, I'm going to keep this. I think it's Deafening Silence turn 1. Side down Plows for 2. Tried to max out on green cards for endurance. As long as they're relevant bodies. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good hand. Hopefully we find a land. Alright, so this buys us at least several turns here. They can't even cast the Doomsday until at least turn 2 now, and that requires them to have exactly Lotus Petal in this for opening hand. Prevents them from sculpting. I feel like we're in good shape here. Ponder. Thoughtseize. Okay. My favorite Doomsday incident was a local match. I was on one of my many punishing lists. This is one of the faster ones, so I actually wasn't even playing Punishing Player. I was playing Lightning Bolt. And my hand had exactly double Lightning Bolt, and my opponent is like, I planned for everything except for you having 2 Lightning Bolts in hand. Okay. Let's... Do we make them have it? Or do we blow this up? Because pondering for another land is so slow for them. I'm going to go for the cheese factor here. Alright, there's your 1 play for turn. And that does not cast Doomsday. It does cast Daze, unfortunately. That was a smart play, taking the Hierarch there. You with Thalia there? Now they know they don't have anything. I don't... Oh boy. I think we're looking for a 3rd land here. I'm putting this in the graveyard. I don't think that's what I want to do with this turn here. They almost certainly have Daze, you're right. Land. Alright, that's a land. Alright, will we get a Force of Will out of this one? Surveil. Kept it on top. Force of Will? This has got to be Force of Will. No? Okay. So easy, yeah. Alright, there's Doomsday mana. Or actually, no, not yet, because of Thalia. And not ever. I don't want them to be able to hardcast Daze here. So this is running into a Daze, but that's okay, because it slows them down a lot. Alright, there's the Daze. No. Nope. Okay. They're really far away from casting Doomsday. Land. Okay, this time... I'm just going to cast this first. They know it's in hand from the Thoughtseize. All right, we probably got this one here. Yeah, because a Dryad Arbor here attacks for 10. 2-mana Ponder, yes! We did it. Yeah, so... Okay, we got yet another 5032. Just recapping a little bit here. We defeated... for those of you who are still on the stream, I'll just show you this. You missed this earlier, but let's go here. Game history. This would be this game here. We play game 3. I have never seen this happen before. So play. In this game here, we had Deafening Silence, Thalia, Teague, Oof, and Sanctifier Infect all in play at the same time, which was really quite pretty hilarious. And my opponent was like, why did you even keep the Collector Oof in? And see this play. Tibok's Trickery against the Pyrokinesis. Cascades to find a Lotus Petal. I think this is the reason why these lists don't play Lotus Petal, because this kept happening to my opponent. So anyway, I played the Oof first because it was the one that slowed this down the most. The opponent started to get annoyed with all this stuff that I had. Then I Enduranced away all of these Throes of Chaoses in the graveyard. I don't know, it's just kind of funny because I would have been so annoyed if I was the opponent here. This is like the equivalent of Delver attacks, blows up your land, counters your spell, like everything in a row, but that's kind of what happened here. So anyway, I am going to pause this here as soon as it gets to all 4 on the time so we can get that, so I can get that screenshot because it's just so funny. And yeah. So yeah, we defeated we defeated like a control style kind of like Stifle Knot list. And then we lost to Nadu, like the sort of quote-unquote fair version. Then we lost to Necrodominance. We had Force of Vigor in our opening hand twice, but such is life, they unmasked it. And then we defeated this Throes of Chaos pile I just showed you, and then we defeated Doomsday. All right, I think I'm going to call it here for the stream, but thanks everybody for tuning in. I will try and fire this up as a VOD, and there's a bunch of other really cool moments that I'll try and point out, like, what do you do? We sat there thinking about a surveil for 5 minutes. You know, these are kind of what we live for here. Good times, and everybody have a great evening. See you later.